To my colleagues at Sakhalin University, thank you for the very generous and warm invitation to join you to discuss this very important topic of what climate change means for local watersheds, fish, and people that depend on healthy watersheds for their livelihoods. I'm sorry I could not be with you today in person, but I genuinely hope to have time in the future to meet and discuss these issues. Hopefully soon we'll be able to safely face-to-face again. In the meantime, I'm happy to share with you a short documentary film that I, along with a colleague at the campus, the eCampus of UAF, designed as part of a recent free Salmon, People, and Place course. The primary purpose of the short film is to highlight the unappreciated role of groundwater in high latitude watersheds, such as the Yukon here in Alaska. During the warm and sometimes hot summer months, groundwater provides cool water for rearing for salmon. And in the winter, groundwater provides warm liquid water compared to the totally frozen habitats where groundwater is not present. Groundwater and surface water respond differently to climate change. The first is slow and resistant to change, and the other more likely to abrupt change. So this is a key point. Habitats with different temperature and flow regimes will respond differently to climate, even if they fall close to each other on the landscape. The fish will therefore experience climate change differently depending on which habitat they happen to inhabit. And as an aside, if you are interested in the class I mentioned, Salmon, People, and Place, I'd welcome you to sign up. The course is starting again beginning on March 16th, and I provided the link to sign up in this talk's abstract. We need to think about these different responses and incorporate them in our thinking about how climate will impact watersheds now and into the future. From here in Alaska, it's clear that climate change is real, it's happening now, and it's affecting every single one of us. Just a few years ago, I saw with my own eyes something I didn't think I'd ever see as someone who has grown up in Alaska for over 40 years. I saw thousands of dead migrating chum salmon in a tributary of the Yukon River that had succumbed to record-breaking heat. Although we in Alaska had a cooler summer in 2020, as I understand it, Russia's Arctic was more like our 2019 and had really record-breaking temperatures and widespread fires. The future is not certain, but all indications are that we're going to experience increasingly common heat waves and broken temperature extremes. As researchers, we should increasingly expect the unexpected. In terms of management, I think our options are limited, but clear. We should be prioritizing diversity, both in the habitats within and among watersheds, but within also the fish themselves. We should protect a diversity of habitats, as that allows the fish options to find suitable conditions, even as things in some places become inhospitable in the face of climate change. I'm confident that if we act wisely and take our foot off the neck of salmon when things are really hard, that they will persist. So I hope you enjoy this film that I call Salmon Strongholds. Global warming is real. It's happening now, and it's largely our fault. We know this is a fact, as it's borne out by overwhelming evidence and consensus in the scientific community. On a cold winter day, with the air temperature of a brisk minus 22 degrees Celsius, it can be hard to remember that global warming is accelerating, especially in high latitudes such as here in Alaska. But global warming will not affect all habitats and species equally. The importance of groundwater habitats, such as this side channel of the Delta River and the Yukon River watershed of Alaska, for salmon across all life stages is profound. Streams with groundwater are defined by their stable temperature regimes throughout the year, as the water within them emerges out of the gravel from subsurface aquifers that are not heated by the sun. As such, the water tends to be approximately the temperature of the annual average air temperature of the region. Here in Alaska, that's approximately 3 degrees Celsius. But it's the consistency of this temperature that is so important and has so many consequences for the biology of salmon. Groundwater is two-faced. In summer, it offers salmon cool areas compared to warmer surface waters that are heated by the sun.
This is increasingly important with warming trends, and the loss of these habitats would limit the option of fish to find cool thermal refugia. In contrast, groundwater is warmer in the winter, and in many regions may be the only areas of liquid water available to fish, as the surface water, streams, and ponds can be frozen solid from the surface to the bottom. Relatively warm, stable groundwater is why these fall chum salmon have migrated over 1,500 kilometers up the Yukon River to spawn. The timing of adult spawning is intimately tied to temperature, and spawning by adults tends to be late in the season in warm habitats. And while it might be hard to believe, these are warm habitats in the Yukon, and salmon are spawning late to ensure that their offspring develop at appropriate rates and emerge at suitable times next spring. If they spawn too early, the juveniles would emerge too soon. If the adults spawn too late, their kids would miss the windows of going to the ocean at the right time. Groundwater habitats in the face of global warming are salmon strongholds, but they are not impervious to change. As annual air temperatures change, so too will the groundwater. How quickly that will happen depends on idiosyncrasies of each habitat and is difficult to predict. But what is clear is these habitats are easy to overlook and are often the first to be modified or disconnected from the main parts of rivers through the building of levees, culverts, or roads. As these habitats disappear, so too does the ability of salmon to persist in a rapidly changing world.